The divine intelligence that runs your vessel, your body, the way your lungs function, all your organs, your skin, the way your hair grows naturally and organically, the way your heart pumps blood throughout the system, the intricacies of this extremely perfect and complex system of living, which is being done at a subconscious and even sometimes unconscious level, is actually the divine intelligence itself. It is the life force that through trial and error made itself so conscious that it did not need any more consciousness to be operating in an automated way. This is what we are currently doing with our ascension process. It is the next level of God itself knowing itself by reverting back to that remembrance of who it is through the individual process of awakening, which means every spark of God, every single individual is getting to know itself, integrating spirituality into its human essence, so that in that super consciousness, in that consciousness of the thinking, of the believing, of the being, of the acting, of the feeling, we actually go back to being. We are human beings. And this is how divine intelligence got to know itself through the process of trial and error in the physical. We have got phenomenal systems that are taking place within our vessel, within this temple, this sacred vessel that we be as humans, because God itself trialed and errored and got to know its own perfect model of being at a physical level, so that this human and every single creature in this planet could be without the need of thinking every single step of the way. And this is exactly what is being mirrored at the spiritual, psychic, and mental levels. We are basically combining those levels together with the emotional level, which is our human intelligence. It is the way that our human communicates with God's source, so that in doing that, we are becoming really conscious of our thoughts, our beliefs, our structures, our patterns, the way the brain functions, the way we think, we operate in different modes like the alpha, the zeta, the beta. And in that consciousness, we as a spark of God are trialing and erroring so as to get to the point in which we no longer need to go through this process, because we simply be. Just like divine intelligence has internalized its own divine intelligence by being and acting without the need to be focused on sending the instructions every time, it is that the human body has become an automated process. We live at a level of unconsciousness because it is this divine intelligence that we trust, that it is living through and for us. And now we're doing the same at this other human God connection level. we are connecting, let's say, science with spirituality, let's say logic with intuition, let's say mind with heart. We're connecting both sides of the equations so that in the duality that existed up until now, we have learned and we are learning what is needed to get to the point of being. So this divine intelligence, through the getting to know itself, with the hurdles, the challenges, the fixing, the finding solutions to what we call problems, is learning to know itself. And once that is automated, we become, we be. So what's happening now is that we are birthing this level of humanoid who is living in and through the crystalline grid, the Christus codes, the essence of who we be in us, this spark of God. And in this creator mode, we are learning to give ourselves the codes that are necessary to know how to operate the system. This is only because at this point in time we still need that. We still need the set of instructions, just like there was a point in time where God itself, divine intelligence, needed to remind itself the set of instructions. Now I need to breathe. Now I need to send this instruction to my brain so that it moves my finger. Now I need to send this instruction to my knee so that it exerts pressure and it can bend. But once that process has been overcome, because it is automated, the process of trial and error has ended, and divine intelligence becomes one with its own being. So this is what has happened with the vessel as this perfect machine that it is, which has been achieved through trial and error by God itself, divine intelligence knowing itself. We're doing the same at this other level of connection with this divine intelligence. This is a message for you to not fret, for you to understand what the recalibration and the divine awakening process is, so as to become more empowered, more centered, and more focused on your mission. Your mission and end goal is to be who you be. You don't need a set of instructions for Instagram, for social media. You don't need a set of instructions to receive money. If you think about it, if you have already watched this, people who have achieved a certain level of success or breakthroughs in any field are monetizing this by trying to sell this or share this or expose this onto other individuals, telling them if you do this, you will achieve that. Ultimately, what we are learning to achieve is to be in a system of the new earth, which has a different encodement than the inorganic, unnatural, artificially made matrix that was created in the ego patterns of survival, lack, and unsustainability for the living beings and divine intelligence itself. But in saying that, it is through the darkness that we learn to be the light. And so this means that once again, through this trial and error, through this learning about the extreme polarities of darkness and light, through experiencing and going through the spectrum of emotions, thoughts, beliefs, patterns, actions, behaviors, internal, external, day, light, masculine, feminine, man, woman, child, adult, old, young, we learn that ultimately we be. We be the divine intelligence that we be. Until then, and when working with the human mind, we are going to try put pressure onto others, try sell our systems, try to convince, try to receive validation and worth through external means. But we are getting there. We are getting to the point where divine intelligence knows that ultimately being is what it's here to do. For that to happen, all the barriers with regards to money, with regards to the material world, with regards to the external, must go. They must go because they must be transmuted into the eternity of the essence of being, of the purity of knowing, of the remembrance of who we be. That divine intelligence. And so we are approaching the end of this trial and error period, in which we forgot that all our power comes from within, that there is nothing else external that is not manifested, created, or affected by what's within. And we are here yet to remember that we are connected to that grid of divine intelligence that we be. So the more we act as that divine intelligence, the less we are separate, the less we try and feel that we have to prove, the more we are in sync, in flow, in divine alignment and alliance with who we be. So step out of your way, step out of your ego, step out of your mind, and be. You don't need a house, you don't need more money, you don't need to sell X, Y, or Z in order to have more money, to have a house. Everything in this world is free and abundant. It is only the external way of the separate mind that has created a matrix system grounded on lack, scarcity, competition, and the siphoning and consuming of energies that is totally in opposition to what now divine intelligence is restoring. The peace, love, abundance, connectedness, one unity mind, consciousness that it is. And so if there is abundance, you do not need to fret, you do not need to compete, you do not need to prove your worth. Ultimately, what remains is to be. And this is only tricky because the mind has made it to be this way. Because it has separated itself from divine intelligence. But by doing that, God Source Divine Intelligence gets to know itself in the remembrance of who it is, in the dismantling of all of these false agendas, blocks to love, darkness, unconscious information, manipulation, enforcement. And once all of those veils crumble down, which they already are crumbling down within ourselves and within the system, within the collective, then all that remains is to be. And oh, how beautiful this is. When you are once again like a kid, free, loved, loving, and empowered in your sovereign choice. Not only that, you are aware that you are aware. And when this happens, the trust that is embedded in the system allows for that divine intelligence to simply be. I'm going to tell you something. Eventually, all of these struggles won't remain. Nothing will remain, because God itself is now figuring out who it is. But once in remembrance, we don't need to remember. We simply be. Just like our vessels. Every single cell is in tune and attuned to the whole body, so that they work, they function, and they support each other in unison. No cell, no organ, no part of the body is trying to harm the body. All of them work in unison for the homeostasis, for the wellness, for the highest good of the whole body. And this, my friend, is what God itself, divine intelligence, is bringing us all back to remember. Remember who you are in the big tapestry of God. Remember, you might be a hand, you might be a foot, you might be part of the heart. We are all important. We all matter, because we all come from the same source, and in that source we are here to work in unison for the divine collective. We are but a divine spark of God. It is only when in separation that we become individuals and we forget that we are actually here working for the whole, because if it weren't for that whole, we wouldn't be here. If it weren't for that divine intelligence that runs through you and that you are, you, my friend, wouldn't even have an ego, because you wouldn't exist. So thank yourself as that divine intelligence that you be, every single moment of the day, for for experiencing this awareness that you be. And you know what? They say that humans are the most intelligent species. But what if animals have actually transcended that, and they are a step ahead of us, in that they are already in the living presence of being who they be? A starfish is a starfish. She, it, he knows how to act, what to do, how to defend itself. A lion is a lion. He, she, it knows what to do, how to act, how to reproduce, what it needs, when it needs it. They live in the present moment. They be. And us, oh well, we are transcending the division, the divided mind, the competition, the consumerism. All of it is fake. And we are transcending even the need for explanation, the need for validation, the need for justification, which comes from that separate mind. And once God knows itself, it is. Just like the principles of the Zen philosophies, there is no point in explaining them, because even words are overrated. They take away the pure meaning of what it is to be. So we are transcending this phase already as we are going through it. No more need for God to figure out how to be aware. It is now time to actually be aware without thinking of being aware. Just be, my friend. Just be. And remember, if anything, the only thing you actually need to remember is to be. That is your only mission, your only goal. Blessed be.